Well, hello, everyone. How are you? It's Monday. And who's ever in here, however many, if there's more than just one, then hey, we've got a good group. So, what's happening, folks? I'm getting in here a little bit late, so just checking out the chat room. See some serious good conversation. I think I had read earlier where someone had mentioned about, do we have a soul? That's a good question. Yeah, depending on which side of the fence you may be standing, there's just as much evidence that says we don't as it says that we do. But who knows? Hermes teaches that some have spirits, some have souls, and then there's the other category that we don't know. Who knows? Hi, Sandra. Good to see you. Welcome, everybody. Um, Trenzo, good to see you. Love and light, favor, shoots for par. And, I'm just going to go ahead and invoke favor over everyone as we come in here. Did a little cleansing ceremony before it came on. So invoke that spirit of wisdom so that we all may learn. So, hello, everyone. Think agape love always and forever. How are you doing? Universal One. Good to see you. Debbie, good to see you. P. Lower, good to see you. Blazing River, how the heck are you? Jake, good to see you. Tim, and hey, Monday. Year is going by quick. Hello, my skies 5D. Good to see you. I tell you, more and more, maybe it's just me, but I don't think it is, that there is a spatial awareness. It seems to be becoming more in more of the tapestry, more of the background. And I think it's something's going on. I don't know what it is, but something is going on. I've been here long enough that I can look back and go, well, this isn't the way it was back then. And it gets a little odd when you think it, because my spirit is, hello, Anna, good to see you. And I think it's akin, even as Anna showed on Friday, I have a very youthful spirit about me. And sometimes I look back from my spirit perspective and realize that, when you start saying 50 years ago, that's odd. But it shouldn't be. I think we should be able to say 500 years ago, I can remember. But we know that doesn't happen, at least not in this current temporal plane. But getting back to the point, it just seems a little odd. For instance, yesterday on our show with Jeff Doherty, not the normal Sunday show, I had mentioned this uncanny coincidence, and nothing's coincidental. But anyway, it's a good word. I like it. I like spelling it. That on a statistical basis, using a nominal formula, that when you start hitting above 90%, hitting 95%, where you encounter the same energy, the same event, it is Groundhog Day. Sometimes it feels that way. However, so some of you very smart people out there, good afternoon. Hello, Barbara. How are you doing? Good day for some good Bengal spice tea. Yeah. Anyway, that there was a particular song that, particularly with Led Zeppelin, that I was hearing. And it came primarily to two songs, Kashmir and Stairway to Heaven. Now, oddly enough, I'm going to share this with everybody so all of y'all can see. Again, just having people sending me the clues. There was a gentleman who said that he had actually interviewed most of the rock stars of my era, you know, and that Robert Plant had made specific reference in this song, Kashmir. And apparently there is a loaded message on this. Now, it's no secret that members of the band, particularly again, not Robert Plant, Jimmy Page, excuse me. Jimmy Page is a devoted follower of Saturn. And it's very replete in their symbology of their albums. So let's check this one out here in Kashmir, because there's apparently two songs. Kashmir is one, and then Neil Young's After the Gold Rush. So this one yesterday, when I started meditating on it, it hit me in many different ways. So look at this. It says, "Oh, let the sun beat down upon my face, stars fill my dream. I'm a traveler of both time and space." Notice it wasn't space and time, both time and space. "To be where I have been, sit with elders of the gentle race this world has seldom seen. They talk of days for which they sit and wait, all will be revealed. Talk in song in tongues of lifting grace, sounds caress my ear. There are not a word I hear could I relate, story was quite clear. Oh yeah, I've been flying, love ain't no denying. Oh yeah, I've been flying, mama, ain't no denying." Anyway, and so if any of you who know the song Kashmir, you know immediately what I am making reference to. So for myself, this became very abundantly clear that, you know, it's just not myself. I have a sense that there's probably others that something's going on, folks. There is something trying to communicate. I go by the idiom, "In the mouth of two or more witnesses, let everything be established," particularly if those witnesses don't know each other and they have no way of conversing with each other. So maybe we're being prepared for something, maybe not. I know this for myself. It's almost like you're living in, not in a dual reality, but merging into that energy, if that makes sense. So there we go. I'm just looking over here. Hello, Seven Serpents. How are you doing? And again, the song with Neil Young, After the Gold Rush. Now, what's really odd about that song, as I jump back to my youth, that was a heavily played album. Many a times, hello, Blazing River, how are you doing? Shannon King, hello. When those times when you have particularly peaked and you're starting to come down, my favorite thing was to meditate. And many times it was After the Gold Rush. That was a great album. And the Moody Blues and the Yes album, particularly Yours Is No Disgrace. Anyway, well, thank you, Unicus of Light. Thank you. Very kind of you. So what we're finding out is that first generation of rock and rollers, it's turning out, were master magicians, using tone and frequency through voice of lyrics that when you begin to read the lyrics, you begin to see there's some deep meaning in there. One of the things when I was watching this video, the guy was saying with Burton Cummings. Now, I'm a Burton Cummings fan. I really enjoyed Burton Cummings when he was with the Guess Who and when he was on his solo album. Hello, Mercury 7. How are you doing? Cool. That song, they don't even remember writing it. As the story goes, they were literally doing a gig, had taken a break, and apparently something happened. That song, American Woman, came out of nowhere. Just boom. And they don't even remember going back on stage and playing it. If it hadn't been for one kid in the audience that the stage manager saw that was holding up get this, a Walkman, one of those type of handheld recorders back in the day. So there you go. And maybe we're all realizing to a certain degree that we're here not by chance, not just by happenstance, but we're here, we're being drawn for a reason. Now, as I look at this group is diverse. It's there is a positive energy to it, and that's something that attracts most people. And it's you guys. Hey, Kaz, how you doing? Deborah, good to see you. Sophie's, how you doing? Rory, Reef, good to see you. So think about that. Brian, good to see you as well. So who knows? Maybe we've been downloaded with an activation code that is being activated. It's obvious that something is going on. No doubt about it. You just cannot help but not know that. So, moving on along, as they would say. So last night we were out and there was a large group. That wasn't last night. It was actually mid-afternoon. And we were seated in a restaurant where it was just my wife and I. And well, thank you, Mercury. Thank you. We were sitting there next to a very large group. It was very obvious by their attire. They had just come from a church meeting, obviously. And Lynn and I are just sitting there and quietly doing our thing. And you cannot help but hear conversation. I mean, words are vibration, frequency, and the more you get in tune to certain things. By the way, let me digress here, folks. The paper that I showed last week, and I know Chris over at Steve with Sightly Sanded Sleuth has been talking about it. I know Brian as well with Milky Way was talking about it. So let's get back to the point that your body, as it turns out, is covered with the best description is to say antennae. And oddly enough, when that antennae becomes stimulated, it can have certain effects. Part of what they say 5G is doing to us, who knows? But I think it could also be having a unexpected effect. To those of us who are empaths, adapts, which we've known, intuitives, I think it's having a effect on us that is making us, maybe it's activating something. Don't know. But let me get back to the point. I just felt that needed to be said. Who needs 5G? Nobody needs it. War, what's it good for? Absolutely nothing. Anyway, my compliments to the group War. So anyway, the group was talking, and I heard something that, well, it began to immediately stimulate a thought. The group, and it was, 8, 9 people there, I don't know. But someone said how they despised this individual. And apparently was a preacher. And I said, despise. Wow. Now that's a word that we don't stop and think about. But you know what I do? I do prepare for these because I respect your time and I know you respect mine. So that's what we're here to do, is to learn. So I'll put up the standard copyright disclaimer under the Fair Use Act for I think as the court said, it needs to be up long enough for the average person to be able to read and comprehend. So I could play Jeopardy, but see, that would be a copyright violation anyway. So I woke up and I knew that this was something that needed to be talked about. You can't love the Creator if you despise the creation. Now, as we get into this, I contend, ladies and gentlemen, that the vast majority of people on this planet who think that they're actually worshiping a God, a devotee to a God, a belief system, a religion, they are nothing at all. That the deception is so great that it may give cause to explain maybe why the gods have stopped talking to us. Hey, you now, I did a video on that and I've read the comments on that, and people don't get it. Show me something that's been canonized, something that has been authenticated, that shows a God has spoken. Show me the document. Show me the individual who is this oracle speaking for God. Listen, if this was a court case, I'd get you convicted in about 15 seconds because the jury would say you were guilty because there is no evidence of any God writing anything for, 2,000 years? Now, if you want to go to Islam, okay, 638, 635 AD, okay. What else? And I take it further, if we were presenting a court case, that you cannot love the Creator in any shape, form, or fashion if you despise anything in creation, good or bad. Cupcake. Despise. There's a word. My wife, where she works at, has a elderly woman, and she uses this word as well. And it's just amazing how that it just triggers. And, she'll say, I despise you. And that's a true Southern thing. If you really put that y'all behind it, I despise y'all. It's one of those terms. So what does this mean, to despise something? To feel a strong dislike for someone or something that you think is bad or worthless. How many suicides happen because people think they are bad or worthless? How many broken spirits, souls that are soul sick because they have been told they are bad, worthless, despised? You'd use it in a sentence: he adored his daughter, but despised his son. To feel a strong dislike for someone or something because you think that person or thing is bad or has no value, worthless, no value. The two groups despise each other. This is the problem we have with politics, religion, class systems. She despised him for the way he treated her sister. He despised himself for being such a coward. This goes deep, folks. We're not playing games here. If you're listening to this, this is strong meat. I hope you're able to handle it. So let's look at despise. The other words that we can put it into: despise, contemn, scorn, disdain, mean to regard as unworthy of one's notice or consideration. Unworthy of notice or consideration. Despise may suggest an emotional response ranging from strong dislike to loathing. Despise cowards. Contemn implies a vehement condemnation of a person or thing as low, vile, feeble, or ignorant. Contemns the image of a woman promoted by advertisers. Scorn implies a ready or indignant contempt. Scorns the very thought of retirement. Disdain implies an arrogant or supercilious aversion to what is regarded as unworthy, disdained popular music. I mean, how many of us go through life? You look back on your life. It's replete everywhere. Despise and scorn means to consider a person or thing as not worth noticing or taking an interest in. Despise may be used of feelings ranging from strong dislike to true hatred. I despise liars. Scorn is used of a deep and ready feeling of anger, disgust for anything that a person doesn't respect. Now you see, throughout all of these definitions, it comes to you, what you despise, what you disdain. To look down on with contempt or aversion, despised the weak. To regard as negligible, worthless, or distasteful, despised of organized religion. The word goes back to the 14th century, and the meaning defined of a sense, feeling, at sense. The history and etymology for despise comes back from the Middle English, from the Anglo-French despise, stem from despire, from the Latin despicier, from de plus specter, to look. And here's something that really got me: to be more at spy, a specter, a spy. To watch secretly, usually for hostile purposes. Now, you can carry this where you want to go with it, but it's very clear that there's something else. So how can you say you love God when you despise yourself, others? All are parts of creation. We're studying the initiation into Hermetics. If you haven't figured it out on that, you need to go back and re-listen. If you don't have the book, the PDF, the Kabbalion, I'll get you one. But this causes some deep introspectiveness about yourself. Because remember, everything you see is of the all. God, source, creator. It all derives from the same place. Now, here's something you got to get in. You are a God. If you're not a God, then you're here as a subservient, an indentured servant, spirit, I don't know. But here's my point. Every name is God's name. That means your name is God's name. You begin to use your name in invocations. Either your name has meaning or it has no meaning at all. And I'll give you an example. Right now, I, Robert Wayne Steiger, invoke the spirit of favor upon everyone listening to my voice in Robert Wayne Steiger's name. How can I do that and expect results? Why? Because I believe in my name. It's who I am. And in my name, the all resides. Get out of here right now, folks. So, allow me. So, I think we have to start looking at this. If your life is not where you want it to be, there's no one to blame but yourself. Now, you can list all the sundry circumstances. I've lived it myself. But if you're going to be honest, every one of those circumstances was caused by you. You screwed up somewhere. Now, you can say there is, again, just a number of bad things that happen. The momentum of that pendulum is there because of you. You created it. That's the wonderful thing about being in this reality. I wrote someone today. I said, what I'm beginning to learn is that I'm in awe all the time. I have this unique privilege as a spirit being. I am immortal. But I have this rare opportunity. That's why I don't believe in reincarnation. It diminishes what this life is about. Because this life is unlike anything else. It has the unique ability to be at 5 dimensions within 3. And people say, what do you mean 5 dimensions? Think about it. How many senses do you have? 5. Yeah. Each one is a dimension within itself. You lose one, you can still abide in them all. And it's a unique opportunity. Be it good or be it bad, it's still stimulating. You lose your arm. It's sad. But there was a sensation to it. Now, there are external powers and forces. Absolute fact. But if you begin to understand that you're an immortal being, you can begin to master those. Barbara Long said something to me that is indelibly imprinted on my spirit. She said, most people don't realize, but they've mastered 3 of the major components of air and water. You want to know about water? Every one of us, particularly if you live in the northern climates, or if you have the opportunity to see ice, what have you done? You have transmuted an element called water. You've transmuted it into another state, another vibration. In fact, you do it on a large enough scale, you can actually walk on water. Frozen water, but nevertheless water. You, every day, if you cook, are in one way also transmuting water again into another element, a gaseous element, air. When you begin to think about this, who else could do this but God's in training? It's serious. It's. I know people have a hard time dealing with this, but to the point, how can you say you love the Creator when most have a very difficult time loving themselves? And if yourself is not part of creation, then what are you? To despise yourself, to hate yourself, to self-talk negative to yourself, to condemn yourself, to judge yourself, in all of these extremities is to say that you're imperfect. You're not imperfect. Your spirit is immortal. Your spirit is perfected. You're experiencing a plane of existence where there are certain principles and laws at work. And when you immerse yourself into this plane, this is where you find yourself. We find ourselves because guess what? We're not the only one in this sandbox. There's a lot of other people, other entities, other forces that are in the same sandbox. Some got their hierarchies where they ain't going to let anyone else in that corner of that sandbox. And when you go up against it, you get yourself smacked. And you begin to learn. Well, there's others around here. Or you get hoodwinked off into a belief system that you never explore. As many of us have found ourselves to be. Brian, are you flirting in here for all the girls? I just looked over that and saw that. But no, getting back to it. In fact, let me pull up something. This is the Hermetica. So the Corpus Hermeticum. So I want to get this because I thought that this was very poignant. It says the greatest evil in mankind is ignorance concerning God. Now, notice the God, small G-O-D, folks. Hermes writes, where are you heading in your drunkenness, you people? Have you swallowed the doctrine of ignorance undiluted, vomiting it up already because you cannot hold it? Stop and sober yourselves up. Look up with the eyes of the heart. If not all of you, at least those of you who have the power. I got the power. Anyway, I got the power. You got the power? Okay. The vice of ignorance floods the whole earth and utterly destroys the soul shut up in the body. Okay, well, here, Hermes is saying we have a soul that's shut up into the body. Okay. Preventing it from anchoring in the heavens of deliverance. Surely you will not sink in this great flood. Those of you who will take the ebb and gain the heaven of deliverance and anchor there. Then seek a guide to take you by the hand and lead you to the portals of knowledge. You see, I contend, folks, the biggest gap we have right now are qualified guides. Now, Christianity, Islam, all the religions use this principle right here. Your pastor, your imam, your yogi, whoever, they act as guides to guide you through those belief systems. But when you leave those belief systems, listen, I reject all of the world gods. I reject all the religious gods. As I've told you this, and it's on the record, they've heard me. They know where I stand. I'm not a threat to them, and they're not a threat to me. And let me just help some person out right now. You see, I'm not under a covenant or contract with any God. Now, if you're into a religion, there's most likely some covenant, some agreement that you have agreed to that puts you in obligation to that deity, to that God. And it's supposed to be reciprocated in kind. We know that doesn't happen. But getting back to this point, they have nothing on me. I have no contract with them. They're not bound to me in any shape, form, or fashion. I'm sovereign. I acknowledge that they may exist. They may not exist. It's of little consequence for me. I don't believe in them. I believe in me. Because if you don't believe in me, it's going to be a whole heart of a problem when you start trying to become I. There shines the light that cleanses the darkness. There no one is drunk. All are sober and gaze with the heart towards one who wishes to be seen, who is neither heard nor spoken of, who is seen not with the eyes, but with mind and heart. But first you must rip off the tunic that you wear, the garment of ignorance, the foundation of vice, the bonds of corruption, the dark cage, the living death, the sentient corpse, the portable tomb, the resident thief. These are strong, strong action words. Let's look at this. So we have this tunic called ignorance, and it is the foundation of all the vice in your life. Look at this. It is a bond that keeps you bound to corruption. It's the dark cage that you create that has no door, but's the most secure prison ever made. The living death. You see, I contend as it's being shown to me. Yeah, I say, every day that goes by where you self-loathe yourself, speak evil of yourself, you are actually in a living death. Literally. And you've become a sentient corpse. A sentient corpse. What does sentient mean? to be self-aware. You are part of the living dead. Anyone who hates themselves, anyone who despises themselves, anyone who curses themselves, and then this begins to extend to others. You are nothing but a living, sentient death corpse. It's strong. You're entombed in a portable tomb. And the thing about it is, you're entombed with a thief that resides in this place. The one who hates through what he loves and envies through what he hates. Such as the odious tunic you have put on. It strangles you and drags you down with it so that you will not hate its viciousness, not look up and see the fair vision of truth and the good that lies within, not understand the plot that it has plotted against you when it made insensible the organs of sense, made them inapparent, unrecognized for what they are, blocked up with the great load of matter and jammed full of loathsome pleasure, so that you do not hear what you must hear or observe what you must observe. You know, every time I read this, the best scene I can give you is this. Two scenes that most people can immediately recognize. When you're in a casino, what are you seeing? You're seeing the full gamut of emotion. You see examples of great faith, great hope, sadness, exhilaration, joy, dreams crushed. I mean, I can go on. Same thing in a sporting event. Take yourself out of the energy of the event, and you can begin to see again all of this. So I'm going to stop right there. This is deep stuff, isn't it? Ay, 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 ay. But I'm telling you, this is it's a strong medicine. If you start loving yourself, start using your name. How many of you, honestly, use your full name when you're standing in front of the mirror, clothed or unclothed? Have you ever done the anatomy of a prayer? Those of you who pray to an unseen God, I'm not saying you shouldn't do it. I don't, but those who do, have you ever done the anatomy of what it takes to get a prayer answered? The millions of things that have to happen in order to cause for that one moment. It gets a little weird. I'm beginning to believe that the true key to master this plane is truly learning to live in the now. You see, in the now, there is no right, wrong, sin. It's right now. And I think that now can also transcend time and space itself. I don't know. Maybe that's what some of us are doing already. Who knows? uh, JH, you do? Way to go. Glad to hear that. You know, so JH, just tell everyone in the chat room, I know I see you there. So do you feel empowered when you use your name? Like I invoke favor in my name. I speak those things that I want to come to pass. You know, I'll share something with you how this works. You see, prayer is not required. And in the Christian Bible, in the book of Mark 11:23-24, and the Christ gave the key to this. He says, if you would say unto this mountain, that mountain can be anything that's a mountain in your life, a mountain of debt, a mountain of health issues, a mountain of bad relationship. It could be whatever. And it goes on to say, if you would say unto this mountain, be ye removed and thrown into the sea, and doubt not in your heart, but believe that those things for which you say shall come to pass, you shall have them. No prayer, no invocation, no nothing. It's you. If you believe that they shall come to pass. Now you see, more people have more faith in their negative words than they do their positive words. Thus, they have reaped a harvest of misfortune. This stuff works automatically. You know, there's no on and off switch. Every word you're speaking has some faith in it, be it for you or be it against you. And as we continue to learn the Hermetic principles, if you're going to become a master, a true initiate, you're going to have to start getting this down. Someone said, well, when I think about doing the cleansing ritual, I get, doing the circle and the candles, I get like there's all these negative energies. And I wrote back, I said, well, look at it like this. And I said, I'm going to give you what you're experiencing. And I took her back to a point in my childhood, I think I was around 10 or 11, when we would get Coast Guard lifeguard and with the Red Cross. And at the swimming pool, it was a public pool, there was the 10-meter diving platform. How many of y'all remember the 10-meter platform? And I can remember climbing up there, and you got all the other kids behind you, right? And so Mr. Smarty Pants, 11-year-old, fearless, until I got to the edge and I looked over, and I think the thought I said to myself, no way in hell. I think I may have used those exact words, because fear, I was paralyzed with fear. I felt the negative energies. They were all around me. They were talking, saying, you can't do it. You coward. You never follow through on anything. You don't really believe this stuff. Come on. It's easier just doing what you're doing. But guess what? I jumped. Of course, that's one of those first time you take the step and you're going, oh, crap. It's nothing now but going all the way down. And, it still took me a couple of times to get used to it. It's the same thing you're learning now. When you start becoming aware of who you are, the power that you already have. The thing is, I'm not doing anything that's new here. And it took me a long time, decades, to get this down. And it doesn't need to take you decades. Some of you can get this within a couple of months. And if you think months are a long time, look back to see, let's figure, where were you on Memorial Day? Yeah, that's how fast it goes. So anyway, here you go. Cheers. So there we go. It gets better. Gets really good. So we're going to continue. I think as we continue down this path, as we continue to learn, I'm going to tell you what, we're going to be doing incantations here. We're going to be doing invocations of some people who know who they are. Let me just share something with you. If none of you have ever done any out-of-body experiences, if none of you have never met entities, powerful entities, they will yield to you if you believe in you. They also will ignore you because they know that you don't believe in you. And so for many, as you begin to go down this path and begin to invoke your name, you're going to have to show the spirit realm that you really are serious. Remember, they watch you 24/7. They know you better than you know yourself. And until you start beginning to show that you have faith in your name, as you as a spirit being, guess what? Just like the Hermetic law of number 6, cause and effect, you're going to be the freaking pinball. They're going to bat you around as most of you have been batted around most of your life. Many of you got freaking calluses on the side of your head because you've been bounced around in that freaking pinball machine so long, you're used to it. If you get to a place where it becomes quiet, you think something's wrong. So, there you go. So tonight, got Dr. Albers. People have been asking me, well, he said Dr. Albers and her theory has postulated that there's a simulator up there, not the sun. They said, well, how can you go for that? Folks, you and I live in a simulation right now. Each and every one of us are here because we are in the mind of the cosmos, which is the mind of the all. We're a thought, a light. So if you take the logic, everything's a simulator. We say that this is real air we're breathing. I don't know, maybe. Who knows? I don't know. Folks, I appreciate you. We've had a good group in here today. Y'all have just been great. Thank Kaz. Gonna have to get you back on, hon. I've been watching some of your videos. So there we go. This is going to get real for someone, maybe lots of someone. As I told Jeff, I don't want to see anyone that's a part of this community to be broke, be doing without, to be in sickness, to have circumstances that are beyond their control. It's time we change that. I contend again, if we're not gods, then what are we doing here? What's all this so-called soul ascension then, spirit ascension? What's the whole point of ascension? I mean, how do you get graduated from one plane to 5 or 6 planes above, much less the next one? I mean, you can't go into the next plane and this mindset. You'll be crushed. And dear Lord, I think that's what happens to most people. They get over there and they find out that it's not what they were told. And so they're in a state of shock. Dr. Robert Lanza's book, Biocentrism, is a great book. You guys should get that. It should be part of your library. He contends this. He says, so you come into this plane here, you are 100% dependent upon other life forms taking care of you until you can get yourself, as he says, acclimated to this plane of existence. And folks, that takes at least 3 years. And his postulation is this: what makes you think it's going to be any different over there? And if that's the case, you're wasting your time here. Now, I believe you should live life to the fullest of every moment. But as the scale continues to progress down the path, the reality becomes, you best be preparing, sweetheart. Because the reality is, no one gets out alive. No one. I don't want to be dependent on the other side. Now, I've got no idea what I have had enough out-of-body experiences to know the sensation. I've been in that womb. I know what it feels like. And when I pierce through the placenta and I get birthed into that new plane, I want to have as much going for me as I can. And if consciousness is transmuted to the next plane, then I want to ensure that my consciousness at least knows the 7 principles that I can begin to apply. Now, maybe we may have a nursemaid over there, maybe not. I don't know. But, to each his own. Okay, well, there we go. Hour's gone. Folks, I appreciate all of you. You're just the best. Like I said, I just invoke favor upon all of you. We're on this path together. Y'all have enriched my path. Some for the better, and sometimes it's a pain in the ass, but nevertheless, it's an enrichment. And be it good or be it bad, as I said, it's stimulus. So, well, be good to yourselves, and thank you again for stopping by. We'll be here tomorrow at the same time, but tonight, join with me with the physicist. The world's going strange. I mean, we had a series of earthquakes off of the Canadian coast up there by Washington, folks. We hope that relieved that whole pressure ridge right there. Very odd things going. So, all right. Namaste to all of you. Be good to yourself. Start learning to love yourself. Start calling yourself by your name. Don't use I, don't use me, don't use anything else but your full name when you look in the mirror. Get used to that name. Speak that name with power, with faith, determination. Don't let no funky spirit mess with your mojo. Listen, again, once they know that you're serious, they're going to start kissing your ass, buddy, madam. Maybe literally, who knows? I don't know, but they will. They'll start becoming much more agreeable to you. Why? Because you're favorable. Spirits want to be around those things that make them feel good. If feelings don't transcend over there, then why would they care at all? Why would anyone care in the spirit realm? I listen, they've told me they enjoy being around me because it's a happy place. A lot of them get to dance. I told y'all this last week. They love to dance. And when they love you, they really dig your tune. They really dig your vibe, your voice, your frequency. You're going to start finding little things start happening. $10 bill here yesterday. $10 bill. things happen. Good things happen. Someone wrote me they did the favor invocation. Things were happening right and left. He said, in fact, they were in a drive-through and someone paid for their meal. I didn't even know. Listen, you get free food. That's favor. Have you ever been hungry? You know it's favor. So, learn to create. Learn to create. That's the thing. You're creating already. Just learn how to use it. And when you start believing in your name, woo, good things happening. All right, folks, I'll see you tonight at 7 o'clock Mountain Time, and be good to yourselves. Thank you, everyone, and enjoy the day. Just be good to folks, people. All right, bye-bye.